Audio Jungle.
My dear students, how are you? I hope all you are well. In this pandemic situation, this is very crucial time. We don't know when we can meet, but I am missing my students and my lovely school campus of Milestone School and College. One thing that will inspire me very much now, that your like and comments in my videos, and I hope you will continue to give like and comment in my videos. That will inspire me for making good videos. So my dear students, let's start today's class.
Audio Jungle.
My dear students of class 7, today our chapter number 2, named Proportion, Profit and Loss. At first I will discuss some basic things, then I will solve some maths from exercise 2.1. Let's start today's class. At the end of this lesson, you will be able to explain the ratio of multiple expression, explain successive ratio, explain proportion, explain the rule of 3, explain continued proportion, explain proportional division, solve the question from exercise 2.1. So chapter 2.1, at first I want to show you a video that is related on today's topic. I hope you will enjoy that video. Let us see.
Shows you just need to understand this simple story. Gaurav and Jay used to receive chocolates from a mysterious magic hand every day. But the magic hand was a little biased towards Jay. Every time it gave 2 chocolates to Gaurav, it gave 3 to Jay, 2 to Gaurav and 3 to Jay. Nobody knew why. Of course, Jay did not complain. So the ratio of the number of chocolates Gaurav got to the number of chocolates Jay got is written as 2:3 or 2 divided by 3. This can be read as 2:3. We are basically comparing the number of chocolates Gaurav got to the number of chocolates Jay got. This went on for quite a few days. So every time the magic hand gave 2 chocolates to Gaurav, it gave 3 chocolates to Jay. Now let's count the total number of chocolates each of them have. Gaurav has 4 and Jay has 6. The ratio now becomes 4/6. The magic hand again gives Gaurav 2 chocolates and Jay 3 chocolates. Now the total number of chocolates with Gaurav is 6 and the total number of chocolates with Jay is 9. So the ratio becomes 6/9. Both these ratios, when simplified, will give us 2/3. In every case, the ratio has remained the same. What does this mean? If we multiply 2 with 2 and 3 also with 2, we get 4/6. If we multiply 2 with 3 and 3 with 3, we will get 6/9. And similarly, if you multiply 2 with 4 and 3 with 4, we will get 8/12, which is again equivalent to 2/3. So all the 3 ratios are equal to 2/3. What does all this mean? It means that if the ratio of 2 quantities is 2/3, then the quantities will be multiples of 2 and multiples of 3 respectively, and not necessarily just 2 and 3. A few students have this confusion that the ratio of 2/3 will mean Gaurav has just 2 chocolates and Jay just 3 chocolates. If the ratio is 2/3, then the quantities will be in the form of 2x and 3x, where 2x and 3x are multiples of 2 and 3. So ratio is basically a comparison of quantities. But there is a bit more to comparison of quantities. We see that next.
So my dear students, ratio of multiple expression. Ratio is one kind of fraction. The ratio of two quantities is called simple ratio. In here, that is the example A is to B. That means A is the first quantity and B is the second quantity. So ratio of two quantities. The ratio of three or more quantities is called the ratio of multiple expression. In here you can see the example A is to B is to C. In here A is the first quantity, B is the second quantity, C is the third quantity. So in a simple ratio, the first expression is called antecedent and the second expression is called subsequent. That is the thing, my dear students. A is the antecedent and B is the subsequent. Ratio has no unit. If the antecedent and subsequent are equal, then it is a unit ratio. Like this example, A is to A. That means antecedent also A, subsequent also A. That means A is to A. So this is called unit ratio. If the quantities of a simple ratio interchange their position, then it is inverse of that ratio. Example, A is to B is the inverse ratio of B is to A. That means A will be in the subsequent position and B will be in the antecedent position. That is the thing, my dear students, inverse ratio. Just exchanging subsequent and antecedent. Mixed ratio, multiplication of antecedent quantities and multiplication of subsequent quantities. That is the mixed ratio. Successive ratio. If two or more ratios are converted into a single ratio, then the ratio will be a successive ratio. How? Let us see. To convert two ratios into successive ratio, both the antecedent and the subsequent of second ratio are to be multiplied by the subsequent of first ratio, and both antecedent and subsequent of first ratio are to be multiplied by the antecedent of second ratio. This is a formula to find out how to find out successive ratio, so it is very important. Example 1, 7 is to 5 and 8 is to 9 are two ratios. Express them in successive ratio. First ratio 7 is to 5. Then you can write down, ratio is one kind of fraction. So you can write down 7 divided by 5. Then we will multiply 7 multiplied by 8 divided by 5 multiplied by 8. In here 7 is the antecedent and 5 is the subsequent, and in the second ratio 8 is the antecedent. So just the before page we just read out the formula that we have to multiply with the subsequent and the antecedent with the antecedent of the second ratio. That's why we have to multiply with 8, because 8 is the antecedent of the second ratio. Then you get 56 divided by 40. Then you can write down 56 is to 40. Now second ratio 8 is to 9. So we can write down 8 divided by 9. After that we have to multiply with the antecedent of the subsequent of the first ratio. In here you can see 5 is the subsequent of the first ratio. So we can write down 8 multiplied by 5 divided by 9 multiplied by 5. That is the formula. In here we have to multiply antecedent of the second ratio, and in here the formula is subsequent of the first ratio and 5 is the subsequent. Then we get 40 divided by 45. Then you can write down 40 is to 45. So your target is, in here you can see the second quantity is 40. In here you can see the third quantity is 40. So second quantity and the third quantity obviously equal. So 56 is the first quantity, 40 is the second quantity. In here 40 is the third quantity, 45 is the fourth quantity. So your target to find out successive ratio, all the time you have to make the second quantity equal. So that is the process to finding the equal successive ratio. So we can write down the successive ratio of two ratio is 56 is to 40 is to 45. That means from these two second quantity we will write down only one quantity. So that is the process of finding successive ratio. Proportion and proportional. If first quantity is to second quantity equals to third quantity is to fourth quantity, then of the four quantities, if the ratio of first and second quantity and the ratio of third and fourth quantity are equal to each other, then the fourth quantities form a proportion. That means if these two quantities and these two quantities are equal to each other, then the four quantities form a proportion. Each quantity of proportion is called proportional. That means first quantity is called proportional, second quantity is called proportional, every quantity is called proportional. In case of proportion, first quantity is to second quantity equals to third quantity is to fourth quantity. Then you can write down in a fractional form first quantity divided by second quantity equals to third quantity divided by fourth quantity. Therefore, if we cross multiply, so if we do cross multiplication, then you can write down first quantity multiplied by fourth quantity equals to second quantity multiplied by third quantity. So, what is marginal quantities? Let us see. First and fourth quantities of proportion are called marginal quantities. Mid quantities, second and third quantities of proportion are called mid quantities. Now, example number 2. Determine the fourth proportional of 3, 6 and 7. This is very important question for you, how to find out any kind of proportional. So, at first, if you want to solve this math, you need to know the rule of 3. The method of finding the fourth quantity is called the rule of 3. Again, I am saying the method of finding the fourth quantity is called the rule of 3. So, solution, here first quantity equals to 3, second quantity equals to 6, third quantity equals to 7. We know that first quantity multiplied by fourth quantity equals to second quantity multiplied by third quantity. You just read out in the last slide. So we will put down the value in here. So first quantity is 3 multiplied by fourth quantity, because we have to find out this fourth quantity, equals to 6 multiplied by 7. Therefore fourth quantity equals to 6 multiplied by 7 divided by 3, because 3 is in here is multiply position. So if we exchange the side, it will be in division position. So after reducing 6 by 3, we get 2, and 2 multiplied by 7, that would be 14. So the required fourth proportional is 14. That is the desired answer. Now, continued proportion and proportional division. So out of three quantities, if the ratio of first and second quantities and the ratio of second and third quantities are mutually equal, then the proportion is called continued proportion. The three quantities are called continued proportional. Let us see. Example, 5 is to 10. In here, double is to sign. 10 is to 20. That is the process to write down the proportion, continued proportion. So in here you can see second quantity and the third quantity, they are equal to each other. Then the symbol of proportion is, in here you can see the 2 is to sign. That means the double is to sign is the symbol of proportion. In case of continued proportion, first quantity multiplied by third quantity equals to mid quantity whole square. That means the formula has changed now. If it is continued proportion, then the formula will be first quantity multiplied by third quantity equals to mid quantity whole square. Mid quantity means second and third quantity, and in here all time you can see that second and third quantity will be equal. Now proportional division, To divide a given quantity into various parts of fixed ratio is called proportional division. So what is the formula of this? Quantity of one part equals to given quantity multiplied by proportional number of that part divided by sum of the antecedent and subsequent quantities. That is the formula, and when we solve a math you will understand this formula very easily. Exercise 2.1, problem number 7. Ages of three sons of Mr. Kabir are 5 years, 7 years and 9 years respectively. He gave Taka 4,200 in the ratio of their ages. How much will each of them get? In here you can see the ages ratio 5, 7 and 9 years. So by this ratio Mr. Kabir will divide this 4,200 Taka. Then how much will each of them get? Let us see the solution. Given the total amount of Mr. Kabir is Taka 4,200 and ages of three sons are 5 years, 7 years and 9 years. So the ratio of their ages is 5:7:9. The sum of the numbers of the ratio. So how to solve this math? At first you have to do the sum of the numbers of the ratio. 5 plus 7 plus 9 equals to 21. Then now the first son will get 5 by 21 because 21 is the total sum of the ratio and these are the parts. So we can write down 5 by 20 part of Taka 4,200. So if we reduce 4,200 by 21 we get the result Taka 1,000. Second son will get 7 by 21 part of Taka 4,200, that is the total part and these are the single part. So after reducing we get 4,000, 1,400, 1,400 Taka. After that third son will get 9 by 21 part of Taka 4,200. So Taka 1,800 is the desired answer of third son. So the answer will be 1,000, 1,400 and 1,800. So now problem number 9 from exercise 2.1. Some amount of money are divided among Labib, Sami and Siam in the ratio of 5:4:2. If Siam gets Taka 180, determine how much will Labib and Sami get. In here you can see the Siam part is 2 and he gets Taka 180. So we have to make a relation of these 2 and 180, then we can find out the other amount of Labib and Sami. Let us see the solution. Solution: let according to the ratio Labib, Sami and Siam. In here you can see this is the ratio of them. According to the ratio we can let the Labib got Taka 5x, Sami got Taka 4x and Siam got Taka 2x. We just make it late. Then according to the question we can write down in here the Siam's part is 2x and Siam got 180 Taka. So according to the question we can write down 2x equals to 180 because Siam got 2x Taka, that means he got 180 Taka. So we can find out from here the value of x. Therefore x equals to 180 divided by 2 because 2 is in multiply position in here. If we exchange the sign it will be in divide position. So if we reduce we get 90. So the value of x equals to 90. Now if we put down the value of x in here and in here we get the value of Labib and Sami. So Labib got 5 multiplied by 90 equals to 450 Taka and Sami got 4 multiplied by 90, that means 360 Taka. That is the desired answer. So next math, my dear students, problem number 10. Let us see. Shobuz, Dalim and Lincoln are 3 brothers. Their father divided the Taka 6,300 amongst them. Thus, Shobuz gets 3 by 5 parts of Dalim and Dalim gets double of Lincoln. Find how much each of them got. Let us see the question again. Dalim get in here the relation of Shobuz with Dalim and Dalim with Lincoln. So at first if we can find out the Dalim's part, then we can find out the Shobuz part. So Dalim gets double of Lincoln. So let us see the solution. Given father's total amount of taka 6,300, let Lincoln obtains amount of taka x, because if we let Lincoln's part, then we can get Dalim's part, because Dalim get double of Lincoln. So if Lincoln get taka x, then Dalim get obviously 2 multiplied by x, that means 2x, because double of Lincoln. Then Shobuz obtain amount of 3 by 5 part of 2x, because of why? Because in here Shobuz get 3 by 5 parts of Dalim. So we already know Dalim get the amount 2x taka. So if we can find out Shobuz that 3 by 5 part of 2x taka, that is the thing. So in here 3 multiplied by 2, because numerator with multiply by numerator, that means 3 multiplied by 2, that would be 6 divided by denominator, that means 5. So according to the question, these 3 part, as you can see, Lincoln get x taka, Dalim get 2x taka and Shobuz get 6x by 5. If we add these 3 part, then we can write down equals to 6,300 taka, because this 6,300 taka, it will be divided amongst them according to this ratio. So we can write down x plus 2x plus 6x plus 5 equals to 6x divided by 5 equals to 6,300. And if we add x plus 2x, because in here variable is the same, so 3x plus 6x divided by 5 equals to 6,300. After that, if we do LCM, we get, in here you can see 3x is the numerator, denominator is 1. So 5 and 1, the LCM would be 5. So 5 multiplied by 3, that would be 15x plus 6x. And if we cross multiplication, we get 21x equals to 15 plus 6, that is 21x equals to 5 multiplied by 6,300, that would be 31,500 taka. Then we get the value of x equals to 31,500 divided by 21, that would be 1500. So if we put down the value of x in this, in here and in here, then we get that how much Lincoln get, how much Dalim get and how much Shobuz get. So Lincoln got x equals to 1500 taka, because we let Lincoln is x taka. Then Dalim got 2x equals to 2 multiplied by 1500, because the value of x is 1500 equals to taka 3000. And Shobuz gets 6. Now a piece of ornament is made by mixing bronze, zinc and silver. In that piece of ornament, the ratio of bronze and zinc is 1:2 and the ratio of zinc and silver is 3:5. Find how many grams of silver there are in an ornament weighing 19 grams. So at first, in here ratio of bronze and zinc is 1:2 and the ratio of zinc and silver is 3:5. In here zinc is common in both the ratios, so we have to make a successive ratio between bronze, zinc and silver, because if you get any common thing with the two ratios, then we have to make the successive ratio. Given ratio of bronze and zinc is 1:2, that means we can write down 1 divided by 2. After that, 1 multiplied by 3 divided by 2 multiplied by 3, because 3 is the antecedent of the second ratio. That is the formula you learned in the first some slide. Then 3 divided by 6 equals to 3:6, After that, ratio of zinc and silver equals to 3:5. We can write down 3 divided by 5. Then 3 multiplied by 2 and 5 multiplied by 2, because 2 is the subsequent of the first ratio. In here you can see 2 is the subsequent of the first ratio. Then we get 6 divided by 10. We can write down 6:10. In here you can see 6 and 6. That second quantity and the third quantity is equal. That is the way of making a successive ratio. So we can write down bronze is to zinc is to silver equals to 3:6 is to 10. So my dear students, 6 in here 2 times, we will take only 1 time. So that is the successive ratio. After that, sum of the ratio of the number 3 plus 6 plus 10, that would be 19, and the quantity of silver in 19 grams of ornament. That means 19 grams is the total weight of that ornament. So how can we find out? We can find out 10 by 19, because 10 is the part of silver and we have to find out only silver. So 10 by 19 part of 19 grams, and if we reduce 19 and 19, we get 10 grams. That would be our desired answer. So summary of today's lesson. The ratio of 3 or more quantities is called the ratio of multiple expression. If 2 or more ratios are converted into a single ratio, then the ratio will be a successive ratio. The method of finding the fourth quantity is called the rule of 3. First and fourth quantities of proportion are called marginal quantities. Second and third quantities of proportion are called mid quantities. Out of 3 quantities, if the ratio of first and second quantities and the ratio of second and third quantities are mutually equal, then the proportion is called continued proportion. The 3 quantities called continued proportional. These are the short discussion, just I am saying as a summary of today's lesson. So my dear students, I hope you understand the full class. I just try to discuss some basic things from this chapter and some important maths from exercise 2.1, and if you practice the other maths by following these maths, it will be helpful for you. Enjoyed the class and understand everything very clearly. If you have any question, you can ask me in messenger group class or in Zoom class, no problem. We will meet together again. We will meet in the next class. Thank you.